I wish I could come on here and pretend I'm shocked by the news that we're about to get into and how people are reacting to it, but it is 2026 and it's a quote-unquote controversial YouTuber, so I'm not really surprised you have people acting like unhinged schizo losers online, but I mean, it is Twitter. So there's this YouTuber, a pretty successful YouTuber that goes by Hot Doggity Demon. He's been around for 10-15 years. He's an OG YouTuber that is still quite relevant in the big 26. He makes / made animation videos and they went extremely viral. The situation that's going on with him is fucking sad. So a few days ago, this came out. Popular animator Hot Doggity Demon has announced that he plans to travel to Switzerland to undergo, this is essentially assisted euthanasia, citing his poor health, fibromyalgia, chronic uncontrollable drooling, and financial difficulties as the reason behind his decision. But I've never heard about fibromyalgia, so I actually looked it up. It's a long-term condition that involves widespread body pain. The pain happens along with fatigue. It could also involve issues with sleep, memory, and mood. Pretty horrible to live with. I don't want to be a downer, but it does sound pretty bad, and it apparently never really goes away, but it could go into periods of remission. So this is him explaining it.
I'm tired all the time. I spend a lot of my time lying down. I get a lot of bad pain in all my joints and muscles, ankles, shins, hands, knees, hips, neck. I have a lot of difficulty sleeping, especially during a flare-up. I lie on my back hurts. I lie on my side, my hips hurt. It seems like maybe once or twice a week I have some kind of a restless night. My body can't regulate its temperature correctly anymore. I'm either way too hot or way too cold, or hot and cold at the same time. I might not be able to sleep because I feel like my skin is boiling or my body is itchy, but like painful itchy. Like I'm being stabbed by tiny needles. I have to get my apartment cold at night because around 11 p.m. my body starts to heat up and I can get overheated very easily and I'll just be like burning up if my apartment is not cold. Or I might not be able to sleep because I'm having a blood pressure spike or whatever. My blood doesn't pump right or something. I feel as if I've lost a big chunk of my brain power. I can't think right anymore. It's hard to explain, but it's like my mind has been hollowed out. And your mind is kind of like, your identity. It's who you are. So naturally, losing it is crazy. I feel like a weird NPC who's just kind of like wandering through life as just a body on autopilot. It's so strange. And unfortunately, my autopilot is also an idiot, as you guys know.
It's something that I truly don't wish upon anyone. I don't think anyone deserves to go through, something like this. And I do find it quite sad that, in this world with, so many billionaires and trillionaires, well, there's one, you have all this money going around, people are sick, people are suffering. They're suffering so much that they're willing to travel to Switzerland to essentially themselves because they cannot afford the medical bills. I find that extremely dystopian. I find it disgusting. I hate that you have top government officials making up coins and ripping off innocent people, stealing millions, if not billions of dollars, yet you have people considering ending their life because they cannot afford the bills. I know he's not the only one. I know there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people who cannot afford medicine, who cannot afford to go to the hospital. And they think, well, I think it's easier if I just die, right? Because that way I don't need to pay anything. I could just, I just have to die. Dying is cheaper than getting help. When the help is there, it's extremely expensive. And it's not something that, you take for a year and then you're back to normal. It never really goes away. So you constantly need money. But if you're not uploading, I'm assuming, right? I don't know if he has another job, but if you're a YouTuber and you're not uploading, well, the revenue, it doesn't matter how much you made the previous month. If you don't keep it up, the numbers will fall. If that's your main source of income, you're kind of fucked. But what happens when you're a YouTuber and you have, this condition that he has? You're unmotivated, your body hurts, your brain doesn't even work properly. Well, yeah, you're not going to be able to work. You can't. So you get backed into a corner and you're like, well, I could either go broke or I could die. That's fucking dystopian and tragic. It sucks. It's fucking sad, which is why a little later on we're going to get into how disgusting it is that people are celebrating him dying just because he was a little edgy 10 to 15 years ago. Keep that in mind. This isn't anything new. This is from over 10 years ago, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's just continue.
The inside of my mouth and my tongue feel puffy and raw and swollen and numb and tingly. Certainly I should be allowed to have a theory, right? But why would I have brain damage? Well, that goes back to how this all started. Fibromyalgia could maybe be conceptualized as a sort of non-definitional form of brain damage, if there is such a thing as non-definitional brain damage. So a little over a year ago, maybe like 14 months, I realized I needed to start thinking of some kind of final solution, some option that would serve as a resolution to all of these problems. And after considering every option I could think of, ultimately, that solution has taken the form of doctor-assisted euthanasia. Now, I know when I say that, for a lot of you, your first instinct is probably to be upset. I know a lot of you care about me, so I'd like to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry for having to hurt you guys like this. But before you do your pearl clutching, I ask you, why shouldn't I? Can you give me one good reason? Is it because I wouldn't want to miss out? Miss out on a slow, arduous descent into becoming an old man with a bad disease? A descent I've already begun? An old man with a bad disease and no money, which is naturally the worst time to have... So the worst time to have no money is when you're an old man with a bad disease.
This is one of the saddest situations I've covered in a minute. It's been years since I was just like, fuck, dude, this is pretty tragic. It just sucks that we've come to this point. This person says, as someone whose life is exactly this, I know and understand the pain all too well. I met a doctor who knew exactly what to give me so I could drive and walk, but I still struggle significantly, still experience extreme pain and fatigue. It really does feel like hell. And I'm not here to say whether this is right or wrong because I'm not him. I'm not going through the same struggles that he's going through. So I'm not going to say, no, you shouldn't kill yourself, or yeah, you should do it. I'm not going to share my opinion. It's not relevant here. All I could say is this sucks.
I would still have all of the same symptoms that I have now of my condition. Those wouldn't go away. It's kind of like we're just describing my personal hell here. And I guess my one other option is moving out into the middle of the country where everything is cheaper, like Nebraska or something, trying to find some Section 8 housing or a studio apartment, seeing if I can live off welfare, and just spending the rest of my life, in a tiny box sitting in a chair, also with a bad disease. And apparently that place is Switzerland. Apparently, Switzerland engages in what's known as euthanasia tourism, meaning people go there if they can't get bonked anywhere else. The doctors there will bonk you, no questions asked. I don't know how they do it.
So now that you have the context, I want to show you the worst of humanity, because holy shit. Because the wrong people are sick and the wrong people are dying. With AI, we can keep his cartoons going forever. R.I.P. in peace. I'm going to apply an old but golden rule. If you have nothing nice to say, just shut the fuck up. Straight up. This lovely person says, karma will come for you. Okay, I mean, in theory, this means that karma will come back for you because you're being a shitty person, but, who am I to judge, right? And for those white people in the comments who somehow get the audacity to forgive him, your apologies will mean nothing until us people of color accept it, and we will never, and your disability do not excuse your racist, harmful remark. This person says he's going to become a ghost like his roommate, Goofball. If it was really that bad, wouldn't he just blow his brains out? Obviously, not too bad to wait. I do not care. His cartoons and views have only harmed the youth and fueled edgelords everywhere. Honestly, fuck this guy. Hot Diggity Demon, aka this guy, will be going to hell when he dies for being racist. Yeah, if I'm ever sick, I'm never letting anyone know. Like, holy shit. Well, unless I can milk it for money, then I'll probably will. But if not, nah. Holy shit. But I mean, it is Twitter. You have all the unhinged retards in there. So, I'm not really that surprised. Yeah, this is the response that he received. In case you guys don't know, the racist allegations are essentially because 10 to 15 years ago, from what I've seen, he's definitely grown as a person. I think he was in his early 20s when, all of this came out. So definitely a young guy in his 20s being edgy. I love it when people criticize you and then you change and they still criticize you. It's like, you do know that you could grow as a person. I do not feel the same way about stuff that I said a year or two ago, let alone stuff that I said and believed in 5 to 10 years ago. And for whatever reason, people on Twitter cannot understand that concept. Wait, you could grow as a person? You could change? You could mature? What the fuck? You also made this... I don't know if I can show it, but it's Steven Juniverse, and it's Steven with Jewish stereotypes. We also have this tweet. He says, "How about this? I won't draw Steven Universe anymore, but from now on, I get to draw Steven Ninjaverse. Deal?" The date is May 2015, over 11 years ago. Empathy has clearly not kicked in yet. I thought all of us knew this. I mean, iDubbbz taught me, and I'm assuming everyone else, that we all develop empathy at 32. So am I going to cancel? Well, not even cancel. That doesn't even fucking exist anymore. But am I going to wish death upon someone for drawings they did 11 to 15 years ago when they clearly grew from that and they haven't done that since? For context, that was a different time. That was a different era of the internet. 2014 to 2017 was, in my opinion, the second wave of toxic people online. I think the first one was the Xbox 360 to PS3 era. And I think the second wave was definitely 2014 to 2017. That was just a whole different time. I'm not going to celebrate someone being sick and dying for shit they did 15 years ago. Especially if they've grown from it. It's like, at that point, what do you want them to do? They cannot erase the stuff they put out. All you can do is move forward. I think it's insane that people are celebrating his death. I'm not here to... tell people how to feel. I just think it's a little insane to be celebrating this. It was a different era of the internet. Everyone was edgy and trying to be as edgy as possible because that's what sold. Could it be criticized? Absolutely. But I think context is extremely important at that time and era that was. I wish him well. This sucks, and I cannot even begin to imagine what it's like to live with something this bad. So I wish him nothing but the best, and hopefully whatever he decides to do, hopefully it's something that he's happy with, and I wish him the best.